Satyanarayanan, Chairman and Founder, Indarsh World School, to come here and give away his presentation.
How much time? I think, as a matter of fairness, you also must curtail my time. No? 15 minutes? Negotiate. Negotiate. 12 minutes. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Uh, you know, the, the mood is slightly uh, slightly, even I am kind of worried. My time was 3:45. I have to go and do my class at 5:30. It's 4:30. I have a 1 hour drive. So even I was a little upset. But I realized that everybody is upset. So I think let's just kind of move on. Yeah, I think move on. Let's just cheer up and make sure that as we are here, let's have some fun. Okay. My name is Satya. I am a teacher. I incidentally also run a company called Career Launcher, and I have some thoughts to present. It's most of the things that you would have heard since morning must be reasonably well known to all of us. I don't think there's any rocket science, but I'll just kind of take a few minutes and share some thoughts and then leave it for discussion. Could we move ahead? Yeah? Uh, I'll show you a short first 2-minute film. Take a look at it and we'll have a little discussion on that. The topic given to me is the role of us as education leaders in an emerging era. Okay? Any thoughts? Any thoughts?
Time is very short. We are changing with a very fast pace.
So, revolution is happening. So the change, revolution, maybe change at a much rapid pace. Yes.
We can say knowledge is there.
Knowledge.
It is doubling time is very short. 7 hours.
Knowledge is exploding. Knowledge is exploding. It's just not incrementally growing.
How it is going to be double.
It's going to be doubled. Yeah. What a student learns in the first year of college, by the time he or she gets to third year, it's getting outdated. Outdated. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much of explosion that I think it takes little effort to distill and see what is relevant and what is information overload. Okay, brilliant. What else? What else? What else? So it actually is not about anything but the world around us. It's not about technology. It's about the change, and it just happens that we end up giving it a name called technology. You know, when we were, how do you define technology, by the way? How do you define technology? Ma'am, how do you define technology?
Tools are used.
Application of science. Okay.
The way tools are used.
The way tools are used. Okay. Please.
Tools and technique is used.
Know how. Okay. Absolutely. Anything that I know how to use, how to do, that's so that there is change happening, and the change is happening all around us, and we as education leaders, we have to use our judgment to be the right gatekeeper, the right enabler, the right facilitator. Not all that's happening outside need come into the school. It's not necessary. There is some bit of judgment that is needed to make sure that I'm able to distill it, use it with lot of judiciousness. Okay? Let's move forward, please. I am going to just speak about it the way it occurs to me. It is about how the change has happened when we look back, how the world has changed around us, and just be sensitized to it in the context of the children who are with us in our schools. And I'm saying it as one, we run 10 schools. I go inside the school. I teach grade 6 kids, grade 7 kids English and Hindi. So I'm kind of also bringing in my own a little bit of day-to-day experience when saying this. I will have to curtail it. So some of the slides I will jump. But just visualize this, that the child who is in grade 5 today, or grade 1 today, she is going to graduate from school in which year? 20? She is in grade 1, let's say today. The child is in grade 1 today. 12 years from now, so 2027. 2031 out of college. 2034 or 5 she begins to work and works for 35 years. That takes us to 2070. All of us in this room will have vacated this place. Right? So what skill do I teach today which is relevant for her when she is 70? If you look at the Western world, there are employment exchanges to recruit 75-year-olds for jobs, because at 75, my father at 75 refuses to stop. He still rides the two-wheeler moped, and any number of fights, he doesn't kind of allow us to get him a car. And he goes for that 4 hours, this temple on this day, that teaching Sanskrit there in some society, and that if it is that is today, there are people who are 92, 93 and they work in the Western worlds where they have gone now to groups that are 100 plus that are on WhatsApp. So what is it that as a teacher I need to teach a child who's in grade 1? It's not skill, because the skill gets outdated in 3 years' time. It's the skill of reskilling myself every 3 years. So it is the meta skill that is important. And I think that's the context that I'm speaking about. It's not the skill of riding a bicycle. If bicycle becomes a motorcycle, do I know the skill to relearn that I shift from A to B? Okay? Shall we move on? The generation is changing. And I think all of us have to be extremely humble about it. What is technology to me is not technology to the child. She is born in a wired world. My nephew, he goes to this large computer screen and he does like this. And he thinks it's old technology. You know why? His father's phone is touch screen. His television is not touch screen yet. He thinks it's outdated. For us, this itself is a marvel. We use technology for this, he doesn't use it for that. Generation is changing without us knowing. Okay, so where we use technology, they don't use technology. They just say phone. And a daughter of my friend, she learnt after many years that there is this red colored instrument on the table. Actually, even in that she could speak to the grandmother. She didn't realize it until the phone rang. You know, जो पुराना ज़माने का अपना phone है ना, landline. Number 2, schools. As schools, I know all of us know how challenging it is as an institution to run. There is no doubt about it. It's perhaps the most operationally intensive organization in the world. There's no doubt about it. You can compare it with the plant of GM Motors school. I can still prove how frustrating, how difficult it is. Having said that, we are presiding the most important role in the society, and it is not of running a CBSE curriculum or an ICSE curriculum. That's the pain in the whole process. The most valuable thing is that we are enablers of the child's dreams. And to be able to convert that into an operating role is not easy. Because there are 40-minute periods, there are so many days, 200 days, there's a bus coming, bus going, and you know how challenging it is. Okay? Vocational practice, unfortunately, we couldn't have your session, but I know where all rolls. Another very important change that is happening in schools. It was a seller's market. You know when she said industry speaker, suddenly I kind of took a second. Nahi, industry speaker mat bolo, jute padenge. But the fact of the matter is that schools, the new era schools, they have to really compete hard to go up the ladder. Harvard and Wharton and IIM Ahmedabad, they will remain there because they've been there. If you start a new business school, if you start a new school, to get to that so-called number 1, 2, 3 schools of your city, you're going to take one generation. One generation. You can't do it in 3 years or 5 years. It'll take 25 years. Okay? Yeah, let's move on. I'll skip this. I'll skip many of these. Some of the things, it was there in the presentation also. I do believe that having acknowledged all the challenges, a great opportunity that any school leader has or any school has is to be able to visualize and be anchored in the future. Do you know that there was a research conducted in 2001, and the question asked was, or the research findings was, that who will be the richest man, most wealthy, successful man in the world or person in the world in 2025? The answer was, that person is not born yet. And the activity using which that person is going to become that wealthy or rich or famous is not known yet. Go back in history for the last 60 years and look. It's the same story. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, all done by people who are in 17, 18, 22, 23. When we thought that our kids must be preparing for college, these guys were building the next billion-dollar imagination-driven project. That it became financially successful is always an outcome. That's not the cause. They were chasing their creativity, putting it at display, and then the world said, wow, great thing, I love it, and I'm going to pay money for it. And Google went a step further. He said, I'm going to make money not from you. You get all my services free of cost. I'll figure out where do I get my money from. And they figured out in no time. Okay? 6 out of the top, could you, remember this? The presentation said 6 out of the top 10 careers of 2010 did not exist in 2004. Not even 2000. Look at it now. Analytics, information design. There are many things that kids now from the best of campuses are kind of scrambling for. They were not there a decade ago. Okay? I'll keep moving, otherwise I'll take more time. देखिए ये सब चेंजेस है, इसको आप टेक्नोलॉजी का नाम मत दीजिए, वो फिर गलत रास्ते में चला जाएगा। बच्चे के बेनिफिट के लिए जो भी चेंजेस होता है उसके लिए मैं चौकन्ना रहूंगा, and then I will use my judgment to see what can wait for a year, what cannot wait for a year. And if the number 1 school is doing or the number 100 school is not doing, I don't care. I have 2 minutes, okay? All right. So I have my PPT with me. Any one of you who want my PPT, you can take my email ID, satya@careerlauncher.com. I will be happy to share that PPT. And after the PPT, if you have any Q&A, you can call me. My number is 9958539993. You can email me. Sir, radio एक ही बार बजता है. 9958539993. And I'll be happy to send the PPT. There are a few more slides after this, but I'll stick to my 1 minute, 2 minutes में एक मिनट बचा के दे देते हैं ना. Satya, SATYA @careerlauncher.com. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You showed us some few facts which we never, think about in our day-to-day life. So I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Jaswinder Singh, CEO, Wordsworth. This is the last presentation for the day.
That's okay, I'll speak. Good evening. Satya made my life a little easy by saying this is the last presentation. Yes, this is. Fortunately, unfortunately, this is a commercial presentation. I'm not going to take much of time. I just want to introduce my company to you. I'm doing it on my t-shirt. Most of you would be wondering, Winterme, what is he doing on a t-shirt? I don't have a shirt with full sleeves and my company's logo. That's why I'm on this. Anyway, I'll quickly take you through some slides and introduce my company, what we do, and that's all. I'm not going to take even the 10 minutes that these people are giving to me. Okay. Do we have it? Yeah. Okay. See, I represent a company by the name of Wordsworth. We are there in the industry since the last 7 years. I've been into content development from last 25 years. Been part of a company known as DesignMate, which created the first animated content for the country. But right now, today, I'm talking about Wordsworth. See, we are a language lab development company. There since the last 7 years. And we were the first to introduce language labs in schools. In fact, there were language labs which are used in colleges, but we prepared a special program which is used by schools. Quickly taking out, currently we are there in more than 3,000 schools in the country. And we work with 3 state governments. Gujarat government is one of them, where we train close to 60 to 80,000 students for the government, where the training is delivered by us, but certification is done by University of Cambridge. Okay. We also work with the government of Rajasthan and government of Karnataka for the capacity building program, for making people more employable. 2 important skills are there. One is the IT skill, and the other one is language skills. So we're providing them with the IT skill curriculum. As of date, approximately 1 million students use this product every year to enhance their language skills. I'm talking particularly about English language skills. Today, we are the most widely used content in schools across the country. This product, this is actually designed in India, developed here, and it is based on the requirements that an Indian learner requires, especially to suit the requirements of schools. In fact, the entire program is based on a common European framework, like we have NCF 2005 for education in India. For language learning, there's a framework which is known as the CEFR. And in fact, CBSE also follows the same. You all must have come across ASL, which is Assessment of Speaking and Listening. That actually follows the CEFR, where students of 9th standard, we are supposed to test them as per B1 level and 11th for B2. I understand that ASL is going to be there for all these standards where you have CCE. So this is an important aspect that we are working through. We use the blended teaching methodology. This is not just e-learning. This is not just technology. We have content where the teacher uses in the class to explain the rules and the concepts or take them through techniques of language learning, okay? And then the student goes to the lab and practices whatever he or she has acquired. So it's very important, I always compare language learning to yoga. You need somebody to take you through the processes, how to actually speak properly or have the other concepts of language. And once you're shown that, you actually go to the lab where you practice to gain confidence. So learning happens in the classroom, practice happens in the lab, and confidence is gained there. Okay, these are few aspects that we cover. We basically start with pronunciation, talking about neutral accent, work on pace of speech, removal of mother tongue influence, intonation, modulation. These aspects which are not covered as a part of our school textbooks or curriculum. Okay, we talk about listening skills, grammar, which is grammar in use, speech sounds, and other things. Now, very important, since we have a gathering of school teachers, people from schools, this product is actually graded. It's graded into 8 levels. We start at class 3 and go right up to class 12, and each and every student is supposed to clear all these 8 levels. According to the Common European Framework, there are 6 levels, but we have divided them further into 8 levels so that you can actually make it a part of your timetable. So what is actually required here is one session in the classroom every week, followed by a session in the lab, which may be on another day, but it has to be there before the second classroom session. Okay. What kind of support we provide? First of all, when the product is implemented, the teachers are trained, because currently teachers are teaching English as a subject. How to teach English as a skill is more important. So teachers are trained. There are content which is used in the classroom, content which is used in the labs. There are trainer manuals, there are lesson plans, and there are flashcards where the teacher can use as support material. Basically, it's a total program where your own schools, your teachers would be trained how to deliver language teaching, but the skill format and not the knowledge format. We are not talking about poetry, or we are not talking about Shakespeare. We're going to talk about language skills. Okay. The last slide. The product actually is designed using Web 2 technologies. That means this can work on thin clients or thick clients. If you use thin clients, your total cost of owning the lab comes down. Thin clients are at least around 40% cheaper. The other thing is, this can work on any platform. That means if you have a Windows-based network, that's okay. It even works on Linux. That means your cost of owning a lab actually goes down. I think I finished. I did it pretty fast. If you have questions, I'm there to answer your questions. Does that mean no questions? I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have on technology or on process of implementation. We've implemented this in more than 3,000 schools, so I'm open to questions if you have a couple of minutes. Yes, sir. You can use this. Yes, sir.
I was one of the first user, I think, of your Wordsworth laboratory, and we have been using long back. What changes you have been bringing in this, and what is the further plan to upgrade it, or maybe if you feel upgradation not required, say, complete product, what do you feel that more things are required, are coming in pipeline?
A question very close to my heart. We are a development company. We're a research-based company. In fact, 70% of our revenues goes back into research. So over the last 5 years that you've been using a product, see, initially we were using simple program, but what we've done is we've created the entire product using Web 2 technologies. That means this product doesn't require high-end computers, one. Second is the entire engagement that we have with the student, that has increased. Because before me, there was somebody who was trying to explain, there was a question, how do we make our kids, glued on to technology or use content, things like that. There was a lady who asked that after 10 minutes, after 10 days, the student's not using it. In fact, if you bring in gamification in education, the kids will keep working onto that. So what we've got gamification into this. They play games to learn more. That is the other thing. Third is report generation. What is it that the child is doing? Where is it that there's gap? Where are the skill gaps? How to put it up? The other thing is, for each and every activity that is done in the entire classroom, the teachers get report on what kind of results have come in. How many students could do it? How many of them couldn't do it? Why were they not able to do it? So those reports have become quite important for teachers. So these are the things that we've added, a lot of videos. See, learning is the same because the framework is same, but how do you put forward it to the students and to the teachers, that has been included. And lately, because CBSE has got an ASL, so we've got an entire system where the entire recording happens. You need not have soundproof room. Second is how to train your kids to actually do well in the ASLs. Right now what is happening is most of the places, you give them a piece of paper, ask them to read it out. But that's not going to work. Because today you are recording, but tomorrow some other teacher is going to come to your school and you are going to go to some other school. So there these chits are not going to work. So you actually develop their listening skills. There are processes that they have to follow. So those have been included. And what we do is with our labs, when we install, every year we give them a upgraded product. That means the product is always latest and whatever changes come in, they have always incorporated. So huge amount of change which has come in since the last time you bought it. And in fact, all schools get the upgrades which come in every year. Any other question? Sir, could I answer your question? Yeah, thank you. Anybody else, technology-wise? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.